The innocent campus beauty was drenched to the bone. On a stormy night, she knocked on my door. She begged me to take her in. She even said that no matter what I did, she would not refuse. But I worried she had merely lost a round of truth or dare, so I ruthlessly sent her away. The next day, I received devastating news. Shen Youchu, the campus beauty, had been in an alley near my home and was tragically murdered. But because of the torrential rain, every trace had been washed away. There was no way to track the killer. The case went cold. I was consumed by guilt. I resolved to enter the police academy, swearing to uncover the truth for Shen Youchu. After joining the criminal investigations unit, I distinguished myself time and again. At last, I had the chance to reopen the case. But who could have imagined that a sudden bolt of lightning would send me back to fate's turning point? Now, looking at the girl trembling softly in her soaked clothes, I stood frozen. I had been reborn on that rainy night years ago. Can I stay at your place for a few days? I will not stay for free. I can do your housework or do something else to repay you. Her whole body trembled slightly, as if gathering every ounce of courage. She blurted out the words she had practiced countless times. Hearing that familiar voice again, my eyes stung instinctively. I pulled her straight into my arms, silently swearing to myself, this time, I would never let tragedy strike again. As luck would have it, tonight, I could visit the crime scene and see whether I could find the real killer. Though Shen Youchu did not understand why I suddenly hugged her, she did not struggle. Sorry, you just look so cold. I could not help wanting to warm you up. Seeing my smile warm as spring sunshine, a flicker of warmth rose in Shen Yuchu's heart. It is okay. Come in, quickly. I will get you a towel. With that, I headed for the bathroom. After Shen Youchu entered the living room, she grew increasingly uneasy. She thought that after making such an abrupt request, I would surely demand answers. Yet I had let her in without asking anything. The more considerate I was, the more flustered she became. Before coming, she had already decided that she would accept whatever I wanted. But when she was truly alone with me, she still felt unbearably shy and anxious. Her nails even dug into her palms as she forced herself to calm down. Here, this is the only towel I have for drying hair. Use it if you do not mind. Shen Youchu took the towel and dried her hair. Could I borrow some clothes? Only then did I notice that all her clothes were worn and old. Since you need to change, why not take a hot shower first? You will catch a cold if you stay soaked. Shen Youchu lowered her head shyly. She softly agreed. The bathroom by the living room has no shower. There is one in my room. If you do not mind, I will turn on the hot water for you. Shen Youchu blushed even deeper. Still, she nodded. Watching me bustle about, she gathered her courage. Fang Yuan. I turned around. Seeing her hesitate, I smiled and said, do you want to ask why I have not asked why you need to stay here? Shen Youchu looked at me in surprise. Her lovely eyes flickered, and she nodded with open curiosity. I thought, unless you had no other choice, a beautiful girl like you would never come to my door on a stormy night and ask for shelter. Since you have no other choice, if I kept pressing you, that would be terribly rude. Shen Yuchu's eyes reddened after hearing me. Once again, she knew she had chosen the right person, and she had even heard me call her beautiful. Amid her tangled emotions, a sweet spark of joy bloomed. The hot water is ready. I walked slowly over to Shen Youchu. I am not worried that you have bad intentions, but are you not afraid that I might? Shen Youchu leaned lightly against the wall, looking straight into my eyes. I trust you. That answer stopped my teasing cold. As we gazed at each other, the air grew charged, but I reined myself in. I had something important to do tonight. Smiling, I took a change of clothes from my closet. Wear this for now. I have put your clothes in the wash. Then I will dry them, and they will be ready soon. Shen Youchu nodded. A relieved smile touched her lips. Thank you, Fang Yuan. In all these years, this was one of her rare, genuine smiles. Soon, the sound of running water came from the bathroom. I went to the kitchen to make a bowl of ginger tea. A little later, I heard the bedroom door open and called out, the slippers are outside the bedroom door. Remember to put them on. Shen Youchu looked at the slippers by the door, feeling my thoughtfulness in every detail. She felt less shy and much at ease. Then I invited her to sit at the table. Have some ginger tea first, then finish this bowl of noodles. She quickly finished both the ginger tea and the noodles. Her face glowed with satisfaction. I did not know you were such a good cook. The moment she finished speaking, thunder boomed outside. I instinctively checked the time. 9:57 p.m. About half an hour remained before the murder in my past life. It was time. I made an excuse, planning to investigate the alley where the murder had happened. Before leaving, I specifically warned Shen Youchu, do not open the door, no matter who rings. I was mainly afraid that whoever hurt Shen Youchu had not acted on impulse, but had planned it in advance. If so, the criminal could be lurking near my home. After hearing my instructions, Shen Youchu nodded obediently like a kitten. The instant I stepped outside, the downpour hammered my umbrella in a rapid drumbeat. I checked the time. 9:58 p.m. The time of death estimated by the coroner in my past life was between 10:30 and 11 p.m. The crime scene was in the old district to blocks away. But the crime scene was not my destination now. It was the shop along the route. A convenience store open 24 hours a day. Its security cameras had recorded Shen Youchu using her last bit of money to buy food there. The kind clerk had even lent her an umbrella and a towel to dry her hair. After she ate outside the store, she headed toward the crime scene. I came here to check the areas beyond the convenience store camera's view for anyone suspicious loitering nearby. She had stayed here for about 10 minutes. That was likely when someone set their sights on her. On the way, I pulled out my phone and checked my home cameras. On screen, Shen Youchu hugged her knees, curled up on the couch, watching television. She was clearly afraid of being alone. I needed to finish quickly and get home. I immediately put away my phone and quickened my pace. Near the convenience store at the corner, I suddenly heard a scuffle. Beside a trash can at the alley entrance, a thin figure was curled up. 3 youths with dyed hair surrounded him. The blonde-haired leader was shouting at him while shoving his arm. Jiboda. My voice cut through the rain. I recognized the boy being harassed by the thugs at once. He was my classmate. He was a loner, often used as a punching bag by troublemakers. At my voice, the blonde-haired thug spun around. The moment he recognized me, his face went pale. My family was well off. My parents knew plenty of people. For my safety, they had used plenty of connections to keep me safe before leaving the country. So, to these little thugs, I was someone they could not afford to cross. Someone had tried to corner me before. The next day, he came running to apologize. This time, I said nothing. The moment they saw me, they ran as if they had seen a ghost. I walked over to Jiboda, sheltering him beneath my umbrella. Are you okay? Do you want me to take you to the hospital? I am fine. Jiboda mumbled a reply, then suddenly broke into violent coughing. Is your mom away on business again? Get home quickly. If you get sick again, who will look after your little brother? As I spoke, a surveillance clip suddenly flashed through my mind. Shen Youchu seemed to have seen something that worried her. Then she left the convenience store. Seeing Jiboda, I finally understood. Shen Youchu must have seen him being bullied. An idea instantly surfaced in my mind. Shen Youchu had left the store then to stop Jiboda from being bullied. But those thugs were not decent people, and Shen Youchu had been soaked to the skin. When she stepped in, the blonde thug and the others were likely stirred by her appearance. What began as bullying could have escalated into harassment. But if the blonde thug had taken Shen Youchu away, Jiboda would surely know something. When he learned of Shen Yuchu's fate the next day, he should have shown some reaction. Yet in my memory, Jiboda barely reacted the next day. If that was true, Shen Youchu was not taken away in front of him. Otherwise, he could have given the police a lead. Then I remembered. The bruises on Jiboda's body the next day were far worse than the ones I saw now. Given his quiet, unresponsive nature, even if someone bullied him, his lack of reaction would soon bore them into leaving. They would not have hurt him this badly. That meant he endured in silence when they targeted him. But when the thugs targeted Shen Youchu, he stood up for her. How else would he have been covered in bruises the next day? My thoughts were a mess after all that reasoning. But I had identified one crucial detail: the murder weapon. At this time, whoever had that suspected weapon was most likely the suspect. After all, on a rainy night, who carries a knife for no reason? And those 3 dyed-hair thugs could very well be carrying that kind of knife. The thought made me immediately go after them. I again told Jiboda to get home quickly and left my umbrella with him. Before Jiboda could refuse, I had vanished into the rain. The downpour had kept the thugs from going far. They were sheltering beneath an awning. I rushed after them and caught up in no time. Damn, that kid actually followed us. I only let him go out of respect for Brother Zhang. Now he is pushing his luck. Should we teach him a lesson? Forget it. Leave him alone. It is not like he can make us pay his medical bills. As the 3 wondered why I had followed them, I was already standing before them. Gentlemen, could I borrow something? No money. The 3 quickly replied. I shook my head. Who is asking to borrow money? I want to borrow a knife. The 3 thugs stared at me blankly, not knowing what I was after. You 3 are street toughs. Do not tell me you do not even carry a knife. I looked at them with a teasing smile. The thug in suspenders immediately pulled out a knife, offended. Who says we do not? I took one glance and knew this was not the knife described in the coroner's report. The suspected murder weapon. Based on the wounds, the report stated that the suspected weapon was an ordinary fruit knife. I shook my head and turned to the other 2. That knife is too flashy. Got anything more practical? Like a fruit knife. What do you want a knife for? The blonde thug did not take the bait. I made up an excuse. I have a personal matter to handle. A knife would give me some courage. Rich boy Fang, you have money to burn. Why not buy one yourself? The blonde thug was just a lowlife, but he was not stupid. Something about my request felt off to him. How about this? I will pay you 100 yuan for one. Just an ordinary fruit knife, as long as it is sturdy. I pulled out a 100 yuan bill. Seeing that I was serious, the 3 immediately pulled out every knife they had. Well, see anything you want, I asked in return. Do you have any others? All 3 shook their heads. That is all. All right, they are good knives, but not what I need. Never mind. With that, I turned and walked away. My expression darkened in the curtain of rain. These 3 thugs were a lead never investigated in my past life. I thought I would find a breakthrough today, but they were not involved at all. If it had been them, when I offered to buy a fruit knife, they would have shown it if they had one. A fruit knife was not worth much, and nobody would turn down 100 yuan for it. Besides, they had not caused trouble yet. They had no reason to hide it. I returned to the area near the convenience store. After confirming that nobody had passed by at that time, I headed for the actual crime scene. If Shen Youchu had not been targeted beforehand, then the killer likely acted on impulse. In that case, when the time of the crime came, the killer should appear near the crime scene. All I had to do was wait there. After organizing my thoughts, I checked the time on my phone. 10:20 p.m. 10 minutes remained until the estimated time of the crime. The killer was either nearby or about to arrive. I immediately quickened my pace toward the crime scene. Near the crime scene, I cautiously scanned the area. A metallic clang suddenly came from the end of the alley. I hurried closer, only to find someone I knew. He Qiang, the notorious school bully from Linjiang numbered a high school. He was peeling fruit with a fruit knife. It seemed the sound just now came from him accidentally hitting the iron door behind him. Fang Yuan, is that you? What are you doing out this late, in such heavy rain, coming all the way here? He Qiang looked at me in surprise. Just handling something. I kept my eyes fixed on him and asked, what are you doing out this late? What are you up to? Do not ask. I brought my mom some fruit, but she sent me away. He rubbed the back of his head awkwardly. Although He Qiang was the school bully, his home life was terrible. His mother was seriously ill and needed treatment several times a week. Being the school bully was only his armor. He did not want anyone looking down on him or pushing him around. So he learned that if you did not want to be bullied, you had to bully others first. He fought his way to a reputation, eventually becoming the school bully everyone talked about. He did not look like he was lying, but as he moved, my pupils suddenly constricted. The fruit knife in his hand looked remarkably like the suspected weapon in Shen Yuchu's case. Why are you standing in the rain? Get over here. My home is right nearby. I will get you an umbrella. He Qiang stood beneath the awning, calling to me as I stood frozen. I snapped out of it and stepped beneath the awning. As soon as I approached, I smelled strong disinfectant. It was the familiar scent of someone caring for a relative in a hospital. Then He Qiang's phone rang. He quickly answered it. A voice came through the line. Family of the patient in bed 304. Your mother's condition has worsened again. Get here quickly. He Qiang's face changed instantly. The fruit knife fell straight to the ground. Then he sprinted toward the hospital without even time to explain. I bent down and picked up the knife, confirming it was almost identical to the weapon the coroner had identified as the suspected murder weapon. But on second thought, at this time, if the weapon was left at the crime scene, anyone could pick it up and commit a crime with it. Ironically, He Qiang, its original owner, was the least likely to be the killer. Besides, He Qiang had no motive. His mother's grave illness and his panicked expression proved he had no choice but to leave at once. With him ruled out, I took a deep breath and tossed the knife back where it had been. I quickly retreated into an inconspicuous corner to hide. Just as in my past life, this knife appeared in the same spot. Then the killer likely passed through here between 10 and 11 that night and happened to notice the knife. Now I only needed to wait. Though it was a rainy night, people still passed through the sheets of rain from time to time. The time reached 10:35 p.m. The downpour hammered the metal roof ever more loudly. Then a glass bottle shattered at the mouth of the alley. A hunched figure rushed beneath the awning. The heavy stench of alcohol filled the air. I watched his next move with total focus, but he completely ignored the knife. He went straight for a nearby trash pile. After digging out half a bottle of leftover liquor, he left the alley and vanished into the rain. I checked my phone again. 10:55 p.m. 5 minutes remained until the estimated time of the crime. My gaze returned to the alley entrance. The red lights of the adult store at the alley entrance flashed continuously. Just then, a dark figure hurried in from the far end of the alley. He suddenly stopped, as though he had noticed the little knife. As he moved, my heartbeat raced faster and faster. Every muscle in my body tightened like a drawn bowstring. The shadow bent down and picked up the fruit knife. I hurried over and recognized him. It was Li Chuan, the school's chemistry teacher. How could it be him? I was utterly shocked. Mr. Li was known throughout school as a genuinely kind man. He treated everyone warmly. I had heard that he respected his wife at home too, and deferred to her in everything. During the original investigation, nobody had even considered looking into him. But seeing him pick up the suspected murder weapon today shattered everything I thought I knew. Was he really the killer? I did not want to believe it, but the facts were right before me. Yet if it was him, it would explain why Shen Youchu showed no signs of struggling or fleeing. To Shen Youchu, Mr. Li was a kind man she could trust. Naturally, she would not have been wary or tried to avoid him. If he offered Shen Youchu shelter from the rain at his home, she would most likely not refuse. After all, She had nowhere to go then. And Mr. Li's wife was at home, giving her even less reason to fear him. But even if so much of it made sense, I still could not accept it. I decided to find out why Mr. Li was out so late. On a stormy night in the dead of night, nobody came out for a casual stroll. He had to have a reason. Mr. Li, I approached and called out. Li Chuan turned around, clearly surprised to see me. Fang Yuan, why are you soaked like this? I went out to handle something. I did not expect such heavy rain, so I got stranded here. I smiled, keeping my eyes fixed on him. And you, Mr. Li, it is so late and raining this hard. What are you doing out here? Li Chuan clearly hesitated. After a pause, he said, nothing. I just came out to buy a pack of cigarettes. The moment he said that, I became even more certain he was lying. I knew Li Chuan did not smoke at all, aside from drinking a little when necessary. He normally avoided both cigarettes and alcohol. He was known as a genuinely good man. Li Chuan was obviously lying. But why would he lie? What was his real reason for coming out? My thoughts spiraled into chaos. Why not come home with me first? Once we're there, you can take my umbrella. Li Chuan did not notice my dark expression. He still wore that kindly, good-natured look. He did not look like someone capable of something so vile. But besides Li Chuan, I could not think of another suspect, especially since he had lied right to my face. I nodded stiffly. Then I stepped under Li Chuan's umbrella. As we squeezed together, Li Chuan instinctively glanced toward the adult store beside us, but he quickly looked away and put an arm around my shoulders. We will have to squeeze in for now. My home is nearby. We will be there soon. I said nothing and followed him toward his home. Soon, we reached Li Chuan's front door. Then Li Chuan suddenly took out his phone and sent a message. By the time I came to my senses, he had put it away and said with a smile, I forgot my keys. Wait a moment. But when I had stood close to him, I had clearly felt a ring of keys clipped to his waist. This was the second time Mr. Li had lied today. My doubts deepened. After waiting a while, the door finally opened. It was opened by Mr. Li's wife, Su-Hirong. She was also a chemistry teacher at the school. She wore a kippao, her cheeks flushed an unnatural red. I looked into the living room. A bottle of red wine lay tipped over on the coffee table, beside an extinguished scented candle and rose petals. Everything suddenly became clear. I remembered that before leaving, Mr. Li had glanced toward the adult store. I had not thought much of it then, but seeing Mrs. Li like this, along with Mr. Li pretending he had forgotten his keys, and deliberately sending that message, all the clues fell into place. Mr. Li and his wife had planned a special celebration tonight, but discovered they had run out of adult supplies, so he braved the rain at night to buy more. On the way, he happened to see a fruit knife on the ground. Being the kind-hearted man he was, he feared it might accidentally cut someone, so he picked it up. Then he unexpectedly ran into me. He was too embarrassed to buy adult supplies in front of one of his students, and Su-Hirong was still waiting for him at home. He did not dare open the door directly, so he pretended to have forgotten his keys, sending Su-Hirong a message first. That way, all of Mr. Li's actions made sense. Why is this student soaked like this? Quick, dry yourself with this towel. Su-Hirong handed me the towel. Thank you, Mrs. Li. I began drying my hair, but my doubts deepened. If Mr. Li was still the kind man he had always been, and his wife was waiting for him at home, could someone like that really suddenly develop ill intentions toward a female student on the street, or even commit such an extreme act? No matter how I looked at it, his motive made no sense at all. Then Su-Hirong noticed Li Chuan was still holding a knife. She asked curiously, why is that knife you picked up so dirty? Oh, I completely forgot. I do not know who threw this knife on the ground. I picked it up to throw it in the trash. But then I ran into Fang Yuan and forgot to throw it out. As Li Chuan spoke, he moved to throw the knife into the trash. But something suddenly struck me as wrong. Wait, Mr. Li, let me see that knife. It is filthy. What is there to see? Li Chuan looked puzzled. He turned the knife around and offered it to me handle first. Even from that small detail, it was clear Mr. Li truly was gentle and considerate. I took the fruit knife and closely examined its blade. My expression changed instantly. The light had been too dim before. I had failed to notice this fruit knife's blade had a slightly rolled edge. A knife with a rolled edge like this, even if the damage was minor, would leave noticeably different wounds. But the autopsy report mentioned nothing like that, which meant I had identified the wrong suspected murder weapon. I never imagined that on a stormy night like this, there would be two identical fruit knives. I immediately checked the time on my phone. 11 o'clock sharp. No, I had to hurry back. The real killer might have only just appeared. I finally realized I had been looking in the wrong direction. Sorry, Mr. Li. It is getting late, so I will not impose any longer. The wind and rain are too strong. I will not take the umbrella. With that, I turned and left. Li Chuan did not even have time to respond. He could only shout after me. The roads are slippery in this rain. Be careful on your way. After Su Hurien watched me disappear, she turned to Li Chuan and teasingly scolded him. You fool. You nearly scared me to death. You actually brought a boy home. Did you buy what we needed? Li Chuan gave a wry smile. I ran into that kid the moment I got there. I was too embarrassed to buy it. How about we order delivery? Suppressing her embarrassment, Su Hurien nodded. Otherwise, all their preparations to celebrate the 3rd anniversary of their meeting would have been for nothing. Through the curtain of rain, I sprinted back to the crime scene. There was no one nearby. I made several more rounds of the area, though quite a few people passed by. They were all hurrying along, not the sort to stop and do something evil. Soon, it was midnight. I stood in the rain, letting it pour over me. How could this be? Had I really missed him? Over all those years, I had reviewed the case files again and again, conducted investigation after investigation, and endured countless agonizing days and nights. Even with no leads, even when everything seemed buried in the past, I had stubbornly pursued that faint glimmer of hope. Sometimes, even I did not know why I kept going. But if I could not find the killer, how could Shen Youchu ever be vindicated? Even if it was only the injustice of my previous life. I murmured under my breath, my gaze growing ever more resolute. Just as I prepared to keep searching through the rain for any possible clue, my phone suddenly vibrated. I immediately pulled it out. A notification said the security camera feed had updated. I hurriedly opened my home security feed. On screen, Shen Youchu had reached my front door. She was hesitating, clearly worried that I had been gone so long. I immediately pressed the camera's talk button. Hello, hello, hello. The sudden voice made Shen Youchu jump. She saw the security camera by the door and called out curiously, Fang Yuan, do not worry. Something held me up here. I will be back soon. If you are tired, go to sleep first. I spoke as gently as I could. As long as you are okay. I am not sleepy yet. I will wait for you. Shen Youchu suppressed her exhaustion and forced a gentle smile at the camera. Okay, I will be right back. After ending the call, Shen Youchu dragged her exhausted body back to the sofa and curled up again. At this hour, the killer could not possibly show up again. Standing in the rain, I wondered whether, while I was at Mr. Li's home, the killer had passed through the crime scene. Then another possibility flashed through my mind. Had I overlooked a suspect tonight? As the downpour battered me, my mind gradually cleared. I recalled every person and event from tonight. Scene after scene flashed before my eyes. First were Jiboda and the 3 thugs. Jiboda had been cornered and harassed, his trouser pockets turned inside out, his backpack open, with everything inside dumped out. There had been no sign of a fruit knife. Even if he had run into Shen Youchu, he could not have suddenly pulled out a fruit knife and done something extreme. So, Jiboda was ruled out for now. Then there were the 3 thugs. They might have caused trouble, but they had no suspected murder weapon. It was hard to identify them as suspects. Then there were the various passers-by afterward, and the homeless man. None of them had left home carrying a fruit knife. After ruling them out one by one, I suddenly thought of someone I had believed could not possibly be the culprit. He Qiang. Because of what happened to his mother, he had dropped his fruit knife at the scene. But if his mother's condition had suddenly stabilized, he would have returned around 11 o'clock that night. At that time, I had just gone to Mr. Li's home with him, so I would have missed him. If He Qiang had bought another knife after returning, then he was very likely a suspect. I immediately decided to check He Qiang's home. If he was already home and had really bought a new fruit knife, the suspicion against him would grow enormously. Soon, I arrived at He Qiang's door and knocked. After a moment, He Qiang opened the door, looking confused. Damn, Fang, why are you soaked like this? You still have not gone home. Something held me up. As we spoke, I glanced inside. At once, I spotted a brand new fruit knife on the table. Sorry, something happened with my mom earlier. I was so worried that I forgot to lend you an umbrella before I left. He Qiang smiled apologetically. Why not come in and sit for a while? I walked straight inside. He Qiang asked again. Fang, why are you out in the middle of the night instead of going home? What are you doing out here? You just got back, didn't you? I noticed he was wearing a bathrobe, and his hair was still wet. The wind and rain are brutal. Even an umbrella can't keep it off. But you still haven't answered me. Why didn't you go home? It's nothing. I just like going out in heavy rain. I walk around while getting soaked. I made up an excuse on the spot. He Qiang didn't think much of it. Then you're a real oddball. You were in such a hurry earlier that you dropped your knife. Did you forget? Why did you buy another one? I picked up the brand new fruit knife on the table and asked. So that's why I searched every pocket and still couldn't find it. So I must have dropped it. But it's no big deal. I bought another one anyway. The old one's edge was slightly rolled anyway. He smiled naturally, but my heart sank. He Qiang's return lined up with the time of the crime, and he had actually bought an identical fruit knife. Even if I wanted to rule him out, I could hardly do so. He Qiang. For a moment, I didn't know what to say. Seeing my strange expression, He Qiang immediately said loyally, Did something happen to you? Is someone giving you trouble? If there's a problem, Just tell me straight. He Qiang had heard that I had powerful connections, but he worried I had run into someone even tougher. As far as he was concerned, he had nothing to fear. He wasn't afraid of anyone. Are we friends? I asked after a moment's thought. How can we just be friends? We're brothers. He smiled and patted my shoulder. Then I'll be straight with you. I don't want to see you get locked up someday for breaking the law. So I hope you'll think more carefully about the consequences of your actions. Your mom needs you by her side, too. As I spoke, I looked him straight in the eyes. My words left He Qiang stunned and touched him. I know where to draw the line, but if something really happens to me one day, I ask you to look after my mother. No problem, but only if you don't get into trouble for doing anything illegal. Fighting doesn't count. I know. Expecting He Qiang never to fight was obviously impossible. At least I could still talk him out of other things. He Qiang thumped his chest. Other people may not know how I operate, but don't you? Don't worry. I won't. Good. Actually, I came tonight just to tell you this. I'll get going, then. I headed for the door. He Qiang watched me leave, puzzled. How did Fang know? I planned to sell counterfeit cigarettes to those guys at school. I guess I can't keep doing this. Getting caught would be a serious problem. Still, Fang was a true friend. He came through the rain in the middle of the night just to warn me. Enough said. Fang, you'll always have a brother in me. The downpour drenched me on the way home, but my mood gradually eased. For now, I would treat He Qiang as the prime suspect, while watching for any more trouble in the coming days. If He Qiang really was the killer, I could at least guide him properly and eliminate his extreme thoughts. But most importantly, I had to keep Shen Youchu by my side for now. I couldn't let her face danger alone. I reached home soon afterward. As soon as I entered the living room, I saw Shen Youchu happily hurrying toward me. As soon as she came closer, she saw me soaked like a drowned rat. How did you get so soaked? Go take a hot shower right away. You'll catch a cold otherwise. I smiled. I'll go in a moment. The wind and rain were so strong that my umbrella broke. Oh, right? The guest bed still isn't made, and there aren't any spare sheets. Why don't you share my bed tonight? I said with a grin, pointing toward my bedroom. Her face flushed. I'll sleep on the sofa. Seeing her reaction, I laughed happily. I was teasing you. You sleep in the bed. The sofa is fine for me. Let me take a shower first. I immediately stripped off my soaking wet clothes. Shen Youchu was still looking down shyly over my earlier invitation. At the sound, she instinctively looked up and saw that I had removed my shirt. Her delicate face instantly turned red. She hurriedly turned away, yet couldn't resist sneaking a few more glances. I'm going to shower. I'll call you into the bedroom to sleep when I'm done. I didn't notice anything unusual about Shen Youchu. I smiled and went into the bathroom. Only then did Shen Youchu collapse onto the sofa, her face bright red. After some time, I came out of the bathroom. I was about to tell Shen Youchu to sleep in the bedroom when I saw her hugging a blanket like a little cat, curled into a fluffy little ball deep in the sofa. She was sleeping soundly, her face completely peaceful. My heart gave a sudden flutter. I quietly studied her sleeping face and thought to myself, even now, I still couldn't believe this was real. Tenderness filled my gaze, and my breathing grew softer without me realizing it. I leaned a little closer. Just then, a thunderclap suddenly erupted in the distance. Shen Youchu suddenly turned over and buried half her face in the cushion. I instantly came to my senses. I pulled the blanket up and covered her properly. Then I lifted her into my arms and carried her toward the bedroom. Shen Yuchu's eyelashes began trembling more intensely. She was clearly awake. I noticed, of course, but I didn't expose her. I simply laid her gently on my bed and leaned close to her ear to whisper, "Good night." Then I left the bedroom. The girl who had just seemed fast asleep in the bedroom had already opened her eyes. Her heart had been pounding so hard it almost burst from her chest. With every step I carried her toward the bedroom, her heartbeat quickened. The short journey had stirred every emotion in her, but she never expected that I would only tuck her in, and that my simple goodnight farewell would sound so sweet. Her thoughts remained unsettled for a long time. After letting her imagination run wild, she finally drifted back to sleep. "Hey, you're such a big kid now. Why are you still crying?" "I'm not crying, but I clearly saw you." The little boy seemed to think of something. He stood and looked towards several nearby boys holding branches and play fighting with one another. "Did they bully you just now? I'll make them apologize to you." The little boy prepared to rush out and confront the other boys. The girl quickly grabbed him in fright. "No, it has nothing to do with them." "Then why were you crying?" The little boy took out a clean handkerchief and gently wiped away the little girl's remaining tears. Feeling the boy's gentle touch, the little girl was stunned. She stared at him blankly. "Why are you staring at me like that? Is there something on my face?" The adorably clueless boy ran to a nearby puddle and peered at his reflection. There was nothing on his face. "You don't need to check." Seeing the boy's silly expression, the little girl suddenly laughed through her tears. "You're smiling." The little boy turned and saw her smiling. He ran over happily. "Thank you." Looking at the boy's innocent face, the little girl felt warmth in her heart. "No need to thank me. My mom says children must not make girls cry. See this handkerchief? My mom gave it to me. She said boys should always carry a handkerchief, so if they see a girl crying, they can wipe her tears. The little boy proudly patted his chest. The little boy immediately turned to look. I have to go now. My mom is here. Do not cry again, okay? My name is Fang Yuan. I come to this park all the time. If anything makes you sad, you can always come talk to me. The little boy waved with a smile and ran off. I jolted awake, not because I had slept enough, but because I remembered I was meant to go on an operation with the captain today. My mind was still foggy. Wait, had I not gone back 10 years yesterday? My mind instantly cleared. I looked everywhere for Shen Youchu. Only when I saw her busy in the kitchen did I drop back onto the sofa and let out a huge breath. Thank goodness, it was not a dream. She had truly survived that stormy night. As emotions churned inside me, Shen Youchu had finished making breakfast and brought it to the table. Fang Yuan, time to get up and eat. Breakfast is ready, though I do not know if you will like it. Coming, I walked over to the table. Shen Youchu was waiting for me. You do not have to wait for me next time. Just eat first. Shen Youchu gave me a sweet smile. It is okay. We will be doing the dishes together anyway. Try it. See if you like it. Tell me if there is anything I should improve. Next time, I will make it to your taste. I smiled. I used to be pretty diligent living alone, but living with you, I am afraid you will turn me into a lazy pig. I did not mean anything by it, but she took it to heart. Shen Yuchu's smile grew even brighter. With cooking this good, you could open a shop behind the school. I will handle the register, and you will do the cooking. Thinking about that scene, wouldn't that make us like a young couple starting a business? The tips of Shen Yuchu's ears instantly reddened. She lowered her head, lost in thought. Soon, we finished breakfast. Seeing Shen Yuchu's slightly tired expression, I reminded her, I will make breakfast tomorrow. You should sleep in for once. If you are tired, sleep a little longer. Do not push yourself, okay? Shen Youchu looked at me and smiled. Leave it to me today. You got soaked last night too. You need proper rest as well. Shen Youchu quickly tidied the kitchen and washed the dishes. The moment she returned to the living room, she planned to keep working. I quickly grabbed her. You do not look well. You are not allowed to work for the next 2 days, even if you are working to pay rent. This landlord has to approve it. So I order you to rest for 2 days. For these 2 days, you only do what I tell you. Got it. If you do not listen, I will throw you out. Hearing that, Shen Youchu finally nodded. Watch some television and let your food settle. Later, I will take you out to buy clothes. Shen Youchu shook her head. I did not bring any money. I will go home and get some clothes to change into. At the mention of home, hesitation clearly crossed her face, and she looked uncomfortable. I will cover it for now, but you will have to pay me back later. With interest, I will work out the usual monthly pay for a housekeeper, and you will have to work until you earn it back. As I spoke, I suddenly took Shen Yuchu's small hand. If you cannot pay it all back, I will not let you leave. How could she not understand what I meant? I clearly had no intention of making her repay me. I even wanted her to stay longer. The doorbell suddenly rang. Shen Youchu instinctively stepped back. She seemed afraid of something. I sprang to my feet. I quickly shielded Shen Youchu behind me. Then I realized I might have overreacted. I immediately laughed it off. I will get it. It was not entirely unreasonable for me to react that way, until I found the real killer. I was terrified Shen Youchu might be in danger when I was not watching her. Shen Youchu glanced at me in surprise. Though she did not know what was going on, she could clearly feel how much I cared about her. Her heart felt as though it had been filled with honey, sweet to the very core. Out of habit, I looked through the peephole and suddenly became alert. The visitor was He Qiang. As my top suspect, his unexpected visit put me on high alert. Besides, I remembered that on this day in the past, He Qiang had never come to my home. I opened the door, completely puzzled. He Qiang, why are you here? What kind of question is that? Can I not visit you without a reason? He Qiang grinned and raised the container in his hand. You were out in that wind and rain yesterday. I was afraid you would catch a cold. So, I made a soup to ward off the chill and drive out the damp. My mom taught me how to make it. It tastes great. He Qiang, too, was moved by the friendship I showed last night when I came through the rain just to persuade him. In his dictionary, he could do without anything else. But loyalty was non-negotiable. So my actions yesterday had caused a butterfly effect. No wonder He Qiang had come over. I had not noticed until you mentioned it. But now that you do, my head does feel a little heavy. I rubbed my temples. Of course it does. Look how drenched you got last night. How could that chill not get into your bones? Hurry and drink a couple of bowls. He Qiang started to come inside as he spoke. Then he suddenly spotted Shen Youchu behind me. He knew her too. She was Shen Youchu, the school's beauty queen. Old Fang, are you not going to introduce her? Shen Youchu, you know her. That was all I said. He Qiang froze for a moment. And what is your relationship? Are you not going to explain? Then he answered his own question. Never mind, do not tell me. Hey, sister-in-law, I did not know the situation here today. Sorry for intruding. This is brown sugar, ginger, and jujube soup. You can both have some. I have things to do, so I will get going. He Qiang left the soup and prepared to leave. I hurriedly said, you have got it wrong. You are here already. sit for a while. Now that the misunderstanding was cleared up, I felt somewhat apologetic and wanted him to stay so we could catch up. Do not get me wrong. I need to look after my mom. I do not have time to stay here. You to take good care of each other. He Qiang gave me a knowing grin. Then he ran out of sight. Seeing his sunny, straightforward nature, I found it hard to believe he was the killer. It made me desperate to find another suspect to take He Qiang's place. After all, secretly suspecting a friend who had given me his all was too heavy a burden. Shen Youchu tugged at my sleeve. Everyone says he is the school's vicious bully, but why does he not seem like one at all? You cannot judge a book by its cover. He Qiang is someone with a story. What happened to him is not as simple as it sounds. As we talked, I led Shen Youchu back to the living room. I lifted the lid off the container He Qiang had brought. It was still piping hot. You got drenched last night too. Come on, have some with me. Smiling, I took out bowls and spoons and served us each a bowl. At the first sip, both our eyes lit up. I never expected He Qiang could really cook. With skills like these, he could make a good living running a food stall. We soon finished the soup. All I had ever heard before were bad things about him. I never thought he was actually such a decent person. Shen Youchu said with feeling. Life forced him into it. He did not have to turn out this way. I sighed. At those words, Shen Yuchu's expression darkened again. Those first few words struck close to home for her too. As for Shen Yuchu's family, I only knew the broad outline. In my previous life, while investigating Shen Youchu's case, I visited her parents several times, but got almost no useful information. Her parents were divorced and had both started new families. Shen Youchu had always lived with her mother, but when it came to what happened to her, both families kept their mouths shut. Each seemed to have played a part in making Shen Youchu's life so difficult. Her mother suffered a mental breakdown on the very day it happened. She never recovered. I went to see her several times, but could not get anything out of her. Sometimes, if I pressed too much, she would become emotionally agitated. In the end, Shen Youchu's stepfather threw me out. Although neither of her parents would say much, I still learned from neighbors and nearby witnesses a few pieces of information. That night, Shen Youchu ran out of her home through the rain. Apparently, she had clashed with her stepfather and accidentally injured him. I was shocked when I heard that. I immediately sought out the senior officer who had handled the case. He told me, on the first day after Shen Youchu's accident, they had learned of the incident and gone to speak with her parents. But Shen Youchu's mother and stepfather said the floor had been too slippery, and her stepfather lost his footing, falling onto the fruit knife her mother was using to peel an apple. His abdomen was injured, so they rushed him to the hospital. As for why Shen Youchu ran out into the rain, they said her stepfather found many photos of boys on her phone, thought she was dating too young, and scolded her. That led to an argument, and Shen Youchu ran from home. The police later checked the hospital's surveillance footage. When her family arrived at the hospital, Shen Youchu was still alive, and they never left the hospital afterward, so her family could be ruled out as suspects. However, the officer in charge of the investigation recalled that when they learned Shen Youchu had been killed, her stepfather showed little reaction, while her mother fainted on the spot. After that, she suffered a mental breakdown. The follow-up investigation revealed that, after leaving her mother's home, Shen Youchu had gone to her biological father's home, but she did not stay there long before leaving again. The surveillance footage showed Shen Youchu leaving her father's house, her head hanging the whole way. She was far more dejected than when she had arrived. Finally, she went to someone's home. That person was me. When I uncovered all this, I finally understood how deeply Shen Youchu had trusted me, and how much courage she had needed to come to me, soaked to the bone, in such a wretched state, and knock on my door, and say things no girl would want to say aloud. Yet in that desperate moment, not only did I fail to pull her up, I gave her a brutal shove instead, sending her straight off the cliff's edge. The moment I learned the truth, the regret in my heart was even stronger than when I first learned Shen Youchu was gone. And in that moment, I wished more than anything that I could return to that night and meet her again. Now that wish had come true. All I wanted was to protect Shen Youchu. As for her family of origin, I did not intend to ask too much. After all, things like this would only hurt her if I brought them up. Shen Youchu tugged at my sleeve again. Fang Yuan, what is wrong? Nothing. I was just thinking about something. Let us head out. With that, I took Shen Youchu's hand and led her outside. After the stormy night, the sky had cleared completely, and the air outside was especially fresh. Where do you usually buy clothes? At the second-hand clothing shop around the corner on the street behind school. The owner is wonderful at altering clothes. 50 yuan can get a whole outfit. Then, as if she had suddenly remembered something, she looked up at me, but I disinfect them carefully. Every time, I boil them 3 times, then leave them in the sun for 3 full days. She was terrified I would look down on her clothes. An idea suddenly flashed through my mind. I naturally took Shen Youchu's hand, damp with the light sheen of sweat. I just remembered a place. The clothes there are very nice. After walking for a while, we stopped before a glass storefront. Shen Youchu tugged at me. This place looks so expensive. The owner is an old classmate of my mom's. She specializes in selling to students. It is not expensive. Come in. Do not worry. Without changing expression, I pushed open the door. A beautiful woman from inside came to greet us. What a beautiful girl. Yuan, you brought your girlfriend to pick out clothes. The tips of Shen Yuchu's ears instantly turned scarlet. And Sue, the season is about to change. Help her pick out a few clothes for the new season. I paused, then leaned closer. She will need a few sets of underwear too. Make sure they are Class A pure cotton. Got it, Su Yankyu replied, then led Shen Youchu to the fitting room. A little while later, the fitting room curtain opened. My gaze was instantly drawn to her, and I stared in a daze. Does it look strange? I came back to myself and smiled. Our Yuchu looks beautiful in anything she wears. We will take it. Shen Youchu soon tried on several more outfits. I had to admit, Su Yankyu had truly exceptional taste. Every outfit pleased both Shen Youchu and me. After paying, we bought bed sheets and toiletries as well. Then we returned home. We quickly got the guest room ready. Shen Youchu stood by the window, lost in thought. I did not know what she was thinking. I approached with a glass of hot milk. I noticed her absently rubbing the inside of her wrist. There was a pale pink scar there, shaped like a crescent moon. Try it. I added honey. Keeping my reaction hidden, I placed the glass in her palm. Thank you, Fang Yuan. I was just about to say something when the sharp screech of a car braking suddenly rang out. Shen Youchu violently flinched. She nearly spilled the milk. Seeing how tense she was, I tenderly took her small hand. Do not worry. You still owe me a debt. Until it is paid off, no one can take you away. Shen Youchu was still frightened and tense. Hearing those words, her heartbeat did not settle. It only raced harder. I suddenly asked curiously, what universities are you planning to apply to? Shen Youchu paused. Why are you suddenly asking that? I smiled. We are both seniors now. Should we not plan ahead? I have a few ideas, but I have not decided yet. What about you? I'll apply wherever you do. After we graduate, you will owe me a huge debt if I do not stay by your side. What if you run away? I would lose everything. Shen Youchu gazed into my smiling eyes, and a bittersweet warmth rose in her throat. Were my words not simply my way of saying I wanted to attend the same university as her? I want to apply to Jing University, or the psychology program at Jingdu Medical University. I was a little surprised to hear that. Those are no ordinary universities. You have set your sights high. But why psychology? Then I remembered her mother's mental breakdown. Could it be that her mother was not simply affected by the shock of her grandmother's death? Perhaps she already had psychological or psychiatric problems. Shen Youchu opened her mouth, but ultimately did not explain. Seeing that, I smiled. It is a good major. The job prospects are good too. But to get into universities like those, you will have to work your absolute hardest. I will. Shen Youchu looked determined. Then I will tutor you. You will tutor me. Shen Youchu gave me a surprised look. It was not that she looked down on me. My grades had only been average in class, while hers were near the top. What? Do you look down on me? I asked with a mischievous grin. No. Shen Youchu looked away. You are lying. Whenever you lie, you cannot look anyone in the eye. The words slipped out before I could think. But to Shen Youchu, those words sounded wonderful. They meant I had secretly been watching her all along. Enough to remember even how she acted when she lied. Looks like I need to show you what I can do, or you will never know that I am a genius sent from heaven. I immediately pulled Shen Youchu into the living room and brought over the 5 years of college entrance exams, 3 years of mock test, high school math workbook. I raced through question after question. Shen Youchu was surprised because I solved them both quickly and accurately. With skills like yours, how could your usual grades be so? Shen Youchu did not finish, but her meaning was obvious. Usually, I was afraid of stealing the spotlight from the others and discouraging them. I smiled at her. So, can I teach you now? The old me could never have been this good, but in my past life, to get into the People's Public Security University and become a criminal detective, I studied like my life depended on it. In the end, I forced my way into the top ranks of the entire grade. Shen Youchu smiled faintly. Does that mean I owe you tutoring fees too? Of course. But what is one more debt when you already owe so much? It does not matter how much more you owe. I will have plenty of ways to make you repay me later. I looked at her with a wicked grin. In this day and age, the debtor may be the one with more nerve. Shen Youchu gave a playful smile. Then hurry up and let me sign a housekeeping contract. I took out paper and a pen, placing them before her. I had only been joking, but Shen Youchu actually took them and began writing. On the page, she wrote, housekeeping contract, and beneath it was the signature, contracting party, Shen Youchu. The middle of the page was left completely blank. She handed the paper back to me. As for the terms in the middle, you can fill them in yourself, Mr. Creditor. I grin wickedly at that. Does that mean I can do whatever I want? So, what service would you like now, Mr. Creditor? Let me think. Forget the service, but I do have one order. I suddenly leaned close to Shen Yuchu's ear. My breath made her ear tingle. Tonight. At those first two words, Shen Youchu nervously swallowed. Tonight, at 10. You must be in bed. You are not allowed to get up before 7 tomorrow morning. Your creditor will make breakfast. Shen Youchu looked at me in surprise. That is an order. I put on a stern face. As you command, Mr. Creditor. Warmth filled Shen Yuchu's heart. She nodded with a radiant smile. As night fell, under my order, Shen Youchu obediently went to bed at 10. Why are you crying again? It was the same park, and the same little boy. One of my parents is leaving me. Tears streamed endlessly down the little girl's face. Do not cry. I thought it was something serious. Both my parents went away, and I did not cry. As he spoke, the little boy gently wiped the tears from the corners of her eyes again. Hearing him say that, the little girl really stopped crying. She had never imagined the little boy before her could be so strong. She had been devastated that one of her parents was leaving, and it had already broken her heart. Yet both of his parents had gone away. All at once, the little girl forgot her own sorrow. She pulled the little boy into her arms and patted his back. Now she was the one comforting him. What are you doing? It seemed to be the first time the little boy had ever been hugged by a girl. His little face suddenly turned bright red. Shyly, he wriggled free from her embrace. If your parents have left, what will you do? I will live with my grandparents for now. Sometimes, I just cannot help missing them. Then what do you do when you miss them? I video call them, so I can see them. Grandpa and Grandma say, grown-ups have it hard too. We are grown up now. We need to be sensible and be understanding toward them. They will come back once they finish what they need to do. Hearing the little boy's deliberately mature words, the little girl was still confused. Her parents had separated, and they would never come back. She did not understand why the little boy's parents could return after leaving, but she understood most of it. The way they each meant leaving might not have been the same. My friends say, after parents leave, they will have new families, and then they will not want me anymore. I am so scared. The little girl's eyes brimmed with tears. She put it in terms the little boy could understand. The little boy again took out his handkerchief and gently wiped her tears. Then, with a sunny smile, he took her hand. Then come to my home. My home is pretty big. I overheard Mom and Dad saying they wanted a daughter too. We can be a family. If you came to live with us, they would be so happy. Children say the most innocent things. Under normal circumstances, no one would try to persuade someone that way. Yet when the little girl heard those words, she felt no resistance, only a warm current flowing through her heart. Even if her parents truly no longer saw her as family, there was still a place for her in this world. At that moment, the little girl seared the boy's face and name into her heart. She would never forget them for the rest of her life. Thank you. The little girl thanked the boy once again, then turned and left. After that, the little boy never saw the little girl in that park again, but at the place where they had met, she left a note full of gratitude. That day, the little girl waited all day, but the little boy never came. She could only weigh the note down with a small stone where they often met, hoping he would find it. Whether the little boy ever saw it, she never knew. A gentle knock sounded at the door. The park suddenly began to dissolve. In a daze, Shen Youchu opened her eyes. She wiped at the corner of her eye, only to find tears had fallen without her knowing. Youchu, are you awake? A gentle voice came from outside the door. Are you up? Breakfast is ready. Come on, get up and eat. After answering me, Shen Youchu could not help feeling surprised. Why had she suddenly dreamed of that time? In the dining room, we had finished our porridge. Watching Shen Yuchu's happy expression, I could not help staring. Her cheeks flushed faintly as she said, why are you looking at me like that? I suddenly realized you look like someone. My gaze drifted upward as I lost myself in memory. Who? Shen Youchu asked curiously. A little girl I met when I was very young. I played with her for less than half a month. Then she suddenly moved away. I think you look a lot like her. I studied Shen Yuchu's features closely. Did she not say goodbye? Shen Yuchu's heart stirred violently. The instant she first saw me, she had recognized me as that little boy from all those years ago. But when she tried speaking to me, she found that I showed no reaction at all. Even when I heard her name, my expression never changed. That had hurt her terribly. Hearing Shen Yuchu's question, I drifted back into my memories. No. Halfway through, I suddenly changed my words. She just did not say goodbye in person. Then how did she say goodbye? Shen Youchu continued asking with feigned curiosity. I looked at her in surprise. It was rare for her to take such an interest in my past. So I said, I found a little note on the ground. Only then did I know she had left. A note? Yes, a tattered little note. It looked like some boys playing nearby had torn it up. Only half of it remained when I found it. I remember there was only one sentence left. I waited for you all day, but you never came. I can only write this to say goodbye. Thank you, Fang Yuan. That middle portion was all that remained of the note. Everything else was gone. Even now, It still frustrates me to think about it. When I saw that note back then, and thought of her waiting all day without seeing me, I really did feel a little guilty. As I recalled it, I suddenly looked at Shen Youchu. I do not know why, but I keep feeling that you look just like that little girl. When you were little, did you ever meet a little boy in a park? Take a guess. Shen Youchu chose not to answer. Once she learned that I still remembered the little girl, but had not recognized her for a reason, her mood suddenly became exceptionally bright. I guess you are not her. I smiled. Why? Shen Youchu looked at me in surprise. Because you are much prettier than she was. I looked at Shen Youchu with a mischievous grin. Sure enough, her little face instantly flushed red. She did not continue talking about the little girl. Shen Youchu returned to her room to change. Meanwhile, thousands of miles away, in a luxurious hotel room, a married couple was resting. Good news. Good news. What is it? Why are you making such a fuss? Our son has a girlfriend. Earlier, I saw on your credit card statement that our son bought several sets of women's clothes from Yankyu's store. He nearly maxed out the card. I thought he had picked up some bad habits, so I called Yankyu. And Yankyu said the girl was gorgeous and had a fantastic figure. She spoke so softly and sweetly, and she seemed to like our Yuan very much. The woman rubbed her hands together in delight. As she spoke, she picked up her phone and transferred me 50,000 yuan. If it is not enough, just tell mom. Study hard and date properly. Understand? Seeing the message, the corner of my mouth twitched. Looks like they all know. Thanks, mom. I will pay you back next time. I had maxed out my credit card yesterday anyway, and I had been planning to ask them for more money. Shen Youchu came over after changing her clothes. I praised her with a smile. You look beautiful. Youchu, it is Sunday. Is there anywhere you would like to go? After thinking for a moment, Shen Youchu smiled. I would like to visit the park in the old town. A memory flashed through my mind. Was that not the park where I met that little girl as a child? Could Shen Youchu really be that little girl? I froze for a moment. She had also said one of her parents was leaving, and that they would each start new families. That meant they were divorced, did it not? And when I had said that little girl was crying, she lied and said she had not. She had even looked away instinctively. Every detail matched. The realization made me excited. Then let us fly kites there. Okay, I have never flown a kite before. Shen Youchu clapped her hands, beaming. I just do not know whether I can do it right my first time. Do not worry, I will be there. I watched her, so adorably delighted over flying a kite that she clapped like a child. My heart quietly ached for her. After we finish flying kites, I will take you to the snack street. At my words, Shen Youchu's heart filled with even greater anticipation. Flying kites with this boy again, and sharing delicious food with him, had been her simplest childhood wishes. First, we will buy you a phone before we head out. Before Shen Youchu could refuse, I took her hand and led her outside. The phone was mainly so I could reach her easily. I could not exactly keep Shen Youchu tied to my side 24 hours a day. After buying the phone, we arrived at the old town park. Come take a look. Which one do you like? Smiling, I drew Shen Youchu to my side. I glanced over the kite stall. I want that pink one. Shen Youchu pointed to a butterfly kite. The shop owner smiled and said, would you like one each? This blue butterfly kite goes nicely with that pink one. I shook my head, but let the thought slip out. If we fly to, how will I find a chance to hold her hand? The shop owner was taken aback by that. She then looked at Shen Youchu in surprise, only to see her cover her mouth and laugh softly. She knew full well I was clearly trying to deflect the shop owner's teasing. We played until noon. After a simple bowl of beef noodles nearby, I took Shen Youchu to my grandparents' house. Hearing movement in the courtyard, Grandma slowly came outside. Yuan, you are here. Why did you not call Grandma first? Have you had lunch? Grandma will make you something right away. The moment Grandma saw me, her eyes crinkled with joy. Grandma, I have eaten. I came here with a friend and stopped by to see you both. That is why I did not call ahead. Only then did Grandma notice the remarkably pretty girl standing behind me. For a moment, she did not dare assume. I teased with a smile. Your future granddaughter-in-law. Really? Grandma was instantly overjoyed. Come over and let me look at you. Shen Youchu's lovely face instantly turned red. She shot me a sweetly reproachful look, then slowly walked over to Grandma. Seeing how excited Grandma was, I hurriedly explained. I was joking. She is a good friend of mine. Her name is Shen Youchu. Good. What a lovely young lady. Grandma beamed at Shen Youchu, completely ignoring what I said. Now, what was your name again? Hello, Grandma. You can call me Youchu. Shen Youchu gave Grandma a gentle smile. Youchu, what a lovely name. You are beautiful, and your name is beautiful too, Grandma said, holding her small hand. Oh, you came so unexpectedly. I did not have time to prepare a gift for you. Those little hands of yours are empty. Next time you come, Grandma will give you the big jade bracelets. A moment ago, I was her precious grandson, but now that she has a future granddaughter-in-law, she has cast me aside. I was left speechless. Then Grandma suddenly called into the house. Old man, come out quickly. Yuan is here. Grandpa soon came outside. Yuan, You have not visited Grandpa in nearly half a year. Your studies must be keeping you busy. Look who else is here. Oh my, what a beautiful young lady. She is Yuan's girlfriend, right? We are just good friends. I explained again. Grandpa immediately glared at me. What a fuss this has caused. Yuan, why did you not tell us earlier? You brought her here without warning. And Grandma, and I do not even have a gift for her. Then Grandpa seemed to remember something. He rushed back inside. Soon, he ran back with two cloth pouches. Your grandma made these sachets herself a few days ago. They contain blessed charms for peace and good health. They were meant to be mailed overseas to Yuan's parents. Since you came first, you can have them instead. Those two can wait a little longer. Grandpa smiled and placed a sachet in each of our hands. Thank you, Grandpa and Grandma. Shen Youchu was all smiles. We are family. No need to thank us. Come on, get inside and sit down. Grandma took Shen Yuchu's hand and led her inside. In the past, whenever she went to either parent's home, she had been an unwanted burden. Yet now, she was cherished like a precious jewel. They held her hand tightly, reluctant to let go. Before she realized it, 2 streams of tears slipped from her eyes. She did not want to cry. She was clearly so happy. Yuchu, what is wrong? Did Grandma hold your hand too tightly? Grandma looked at me guiltily. Grandma does a lot of heavy work, so she does not know her own strength. I am so sorry. No, it is not that. I suddenly miss my maternal grandparents. Shen Youchu hurriedly explained. Only then did Grandma understand. Sorry, Grandma, I did not mean to cry. Silly child, there is nothing to apologize for. From now on, Grandpa and Grandma will cherish you too. We will treat you just as well as your grandparents do. If that rascal Yuan ever bullies you, come tell Grandma. I will give him a good spanking. Grandma comforted her with a warm smile. Looks like if I really get a granddaughter-in-law, my precious eldest grandson will look like he was picked up off the street. What an injustice. My complaint immediately made Shen Youchu laugh through her tears. Grandpa and Grandma could not help laughing as they scolded me. Time together always passed too quickly. After we had dinner at Grandpa and Grandma's house, we said goodbye and went home. We did not make it to the food street this time, so we agreed to go next time. It is fine. I really liked being with Grandpa and Grandma too. We can go next time, Shen Youchu said with a smile. Then go get some rest. I will put some calming herbs in your pillow. Okay. Then I took the calming herbs I had brought back from my grandparents' house and went to Shen Youchu's room. Grandpa and Grandma said putting some calming herbs in her pillow would help her sleep more peacefully. Just as I cheerfully lifted her pillow, I froze in place. Under the pillow was a fruit knife. It was a fruit knife remarkably similar to the weapon the forensic examiner had inferred in my past life. This clearly was not one of my family's knives. Shen Youchu had brought it with her. Besides, ever since she came to live here, she had hardly left my side. She must have been carrying the knife when she arrived. I immediately fell into deep thought. First, Shen Youchu could not possibly have committed suicide. The angle at which a weapon is used in suicide and murder, and the nature of the wounds are completely different. Besides, if she had taken her own life, the weapon would have fallen beside her. It could not have remained missing. But if Shen Youchu had been carrying the fruit knife herself, then all my previous deductions would have to be overturned. I began recalling everyone I had encountered on Friday night. Jiboda, the 3 street thugs, the homeless man, He Qiang, Li Chuan, and the passers-by. Who was the real killer? Since I had already saved Shen Youchu in this life, I should not have needed to dwell on this matter. But if fate arranged for Shen Youchu to cross paths with the killer again and be hurt once more, I could never accept it. So I had to solve the problem at its source. If the killer had an old case hanging over him, I would send him to the police. If the killer still had a clean record, I would find a way to guard against him. The problem was that there were now so many suspects. And in this life, the culprit had not actually committed the crime. Solving a case from a distance was the hardest kind of deduction. I could only use the case information I had gathered in my past life, and the clues from Friday night to piece everything together. When Shen Youchu saw that I had been gone from the living room for a long time, she headed to her room. The moment she entered, she saw me standing frozen with her pillow in my hands. She immediately saw the fruit knife that had been under it. She was instantly thrown into a panic. I heard movement behind me and turned around. Shen Youchu hurriedly explained. Fang Yuan, this knife is not what you think. She was terrified I would misunderstand. She had not kept the knife under her pillow because she feared I might try anything while she slept. It was simply a habit she had developed at home. It made her feel safer while sleeping. Seeing Shen Youchu explain in a panic, I pulled her straight into my arms. It is all right. You do not have to explain. It is a good thing for a girl to be safety conscious. I smiled and gently stroked her back. When I felt her trembling body gradually relax, I smiled and slowly let her go. Then I placed the pillow back over the knife and walked out of Shen Yuchu's room. Seeing that I did not care that she carried a knife, Shen Youchu breathed a sigh of relief. Then her heart overflowed with gratitude. She felt fortunate to have met someone who protected and understood her so deeply. He did not even need to hear her explain. She slowly walked to the bed. She took the fruit knife from beneath her pillow. It had once given her a false sense of security. Then she put it away in the drawer of the nearby cabinet. From now on, she no longer needed it to feel safe. The next morning, I got up early to make breakfast. When Shen Youchu opened her bedroom door, I was still busy in the kitchen. Youchu, why are you up so early? I glanced at her in surprise. You are the one who is up early. I took on the job of being your housekeeper. Shouldn't I get up early and make breakfast for my employer? Shen Youchu joked with me, smiling. Seeing how happy she looked, I felt happier too. Then go rest. It will be ready soon. After we finished breakfast, we left and walked towards school. On the way, I suddenly spoke. Youchu, let us find time to go to your house in the next couple of days and bring your things here. Shen Youchu visibly froze. Fear filled her face. She feared that because of her mother's opposition, she would lose every chance to be with me. If that really happened, she could not imagine how completely she would fall apart. I suddenly took her hand. Do not worry. You do not need to worry about your family objecting. I have a way to stop them from interfering. I had a general understanding of Shen Yuchu's family situation. Neither side of her family seemed to welcome her. Really, Fang Yuan, I really do not want to go back. She suddenly gripped my hand tightly and looked at me with desperate hope. She did not know how to escape or save herself from that hopeless family environment. So, she was afraid to face it and did not want to. But because I was the one who had said it, she trusted me unconditionally. Trust me, I will not let you go back. Shen Youchu nodded with a smile. My smile calmed her heart considerably. In the classroom, morning study had already been underway for a while. Suddenly, a middle-aged woman appeared at the classroom door. One glance was all it took. It was Shen Yuchu's biological mother. The moment Shen Youchu saw her, her body visibly stiffened. Then she instinctively turned to look at me. The homeroom teacher was asking Shen Yuchu's mother about her visit. Soon, the teacher turned and called out, Youchu, your mother wants to see you. After I gave her a discreet nod, she nervously walked to the classroom door. Throughout the conversation, Shen Youchu remained silent. Only her mother kept talking. After speaking for quite some time, her mother seemed to toss out one final remark and turned to leave. When Shen Youchu returned, her mood was much lower. Just before morning study ended, I suddenly walked up to the podium and said a few words to the homeroom teacher. The teacher looked at me in surprise. At your age, your studies should come first. I had expected that response. So I smiled. Teacher, how about we make a bet? Go on. We have midterm exams this week, right? If I can rank in the top 10 of the entire senior year, then you will agree to my request. The moment I proposed that bet, the homeroom teacher perked up. I admire your courage. Let us keep it to our class. As long as you rank in our class's top 10, I will grant your request. In his view, dating was fine, as long as it did not hurt our studies. If falling in love pushed me to work harder, he would support that even more. Then it is a deal. After morning study ended, I looked at the downcast Shen Youchu. Remember what I told you this morning. Do not overthink it anymore. After school this afternoon, we will settle this. Okay. Shen Youchu took several deep breaths and finally smiled. After comforting Shen Youchu, I had just stepped out of the classroom when I found Jibota watching me nervously. I am truly sorry about last Friday night. I had something important to deal with then. Were you really okay afterward? Jibota shook his head. I am fine. They did not hit me that hard. Here. This is yours. Somewhat reluctantly, Jibota handed me a handkerchief he had washed spotless. You really cleaned it well. I smiled and patted Jibota on the shoulder. Call me if anything happens. Do not stay silent when people bully you. He did not say anything. He only nodded. Yet an immense warmth rose in his heart. After finding a secluded spot, I took out my phone. Mom, did you handle what I asked? I have already faxed it over. Could I possibly delay anything involving my daughter-in-law? Send it over. Let me see it first. As she spoke, Mom sent me a contract. I opened it and read it carefully. After a while, I said, it looks fine. Thanks, Mom. With the contract handled, everything else would be fine. The law states that once a child is over 16, if they can prove they are capable of working independently and their job earns enough to cover their living needs, their parents cannot abuse guardianship rights over them. This was the solution I had devised to help Shen Youchu escape her toxic family. Soon, it was lunchtime. As we reached the school gate, Shen Youchu suddenly stiffened and sidestepped behind me. Her biological father was standing at the gate. Her father was here, probably because Shen Youchu had not gone home for 2 days. And before her mother came that morning, she must have gone to her father first. I turned to Shen Youchu. I am here for you. Just stay with me. If you want to speak to him, do it. If you do not, I will speak for you. Her expression shifted slightly at my words. She looked at me, then took deep breaths and slowly relaxed. Then she followed me forward at an unhurried pace. Even then, she had not realized why I recognized her father. We had not gone far when her father shouted from behind us, "Yuchu, wait." Only then did we pretend to have just noticed him. "Yuchu, your mother said you have not been home for 2 or 3 days. What is going on?" As he spoke, Shen Yuchu's father discreetly glanced at me. Shen Youchu lowered her head and said nothing. Seeing that, I took her hand. The sight made Shen Chengfeng pause. Shen Youchu also looked at me in surprise. What is going on? You should know perfectly well. There was such a heavy storm Friday night, yet she had no home that would take her in. What do you think is going on? Who are you? My words left Shen Chengfeng speechless. He could only change the subject, frowning at me. Let go of her hand. Stay away from our Yuchu. Your family. In a torrential downpour, you would rather watch your daughter get soaked in the rain than let her stay the night in your home. How can you call that her home? For someone like him. I had no patience at all. You insolent brat. You have no right to lecture me. Who do you think you are? This is our family business. It is none of your business. Let go of her right now, or I will call your teacher and parents. He roared angrily. Sure, how about I call my parents for you right now? I admit, they are far better at arguing than I am. If you want them to give you a good scolding, I do not mind. I took out my phone, looking utterly unconcerned. Shen Chengfeng had never met a student like me. I left him completely stunned. Seeing that threatening to call my parents did not work, he immediately threatened me. Let me tell you, you are harassing a girl. If you do not let go, I will call the police. I smiled, utterly unconcerned. Go ahead. Making a false report can get you detained. The police are not your personal servants. I suggest you calm down, sir. I cannot be bothered arguing with you. Unable to argue back, Shen Chengfeng reached for Shen Youchu. I immediately grabbed his wrist. If I remember correctly, Yuchu's custody was awarded to her mother. You have no right to control or touch her by force. So, do not put your hands on her. Besides, Yuchu is already over 16. She can support herself. She does not need your fake concern. If you keep harassing her, I guarantee that by this afternoon, everyone at your company will know how you cruelly threw your daughter out of her home. Finally, if there is nothing else, we are going to have lunch. We will be on our way. With that, I turned to Shen Youchu and smiled gently. Let us go. Before she could answer, I took her hand and led her away. On the way home, Shen Youchu kept glancing up at me. She felt that I had a maturity no high school student should possess. Sorry, Yuchu, I tore into your father without asking. I did not consider how you would feel. Shen Youchu shook her head. She looked at me earnestly, her eyes suddenly shining. I am so happy for everything you did for me today. Then she gave me a radiant smile and took my hand as we headed home. After we had lunch at home, I took out the contract I had just printed. Your indenture contract is ready. Sign it now. Smiling, I handed Shen Youchu the housekeeping contract. You told your mom. Seeing Lin Shi's name on it, Shen Youchu was surprised. She had learned my parents' names at my grandparents' house yesterday. She had to be involved in this. I could not keep it from her. Did she say anything else? Shen Youchu's pretty face instantly turned crimson. She did. She said that if you cannot take good care of me, she will fire you, especially this part about caring for my daily needs. See it. For instance, if my bed is too cold at night, you have to warm it up for me first. I gave Shen Youchu a wicked grin. That is clearly an unfair clause. That kind of service cost extra. After the joke, Shen Youchu examined the contract seriously. You are not really going to pay me this salary, are you? Of course I am. Do not rush to refuse. This contract is mainly for your parents to see. Then I explained what the contract was for. After Shen Youchu heard me out, her eyes instantly lit up. The happier she had been with me these past few days, the more uneasy and frightened she felt deep down. She feared her parents would one day come for her and tear this beautiful dream apart with their own hands. Now that I have found a solution, she finally did not have to live in constant fear. Now you see the benefits, right? So hurry up and sign it. Seeing her whole face glow with joy made me happy too. But is 6,000 yuan a little too much? How about cutting it in half? Shen Youchu still found it hard to accept. Silly girl. Then use the money to cover our food, clothes, and daily expenses. Let me enjoy being taken care of for once. That is a good idea. Shen Youchu laughed happily. Then she quickly signed the contract. After our afternoon break, we went back to school. Not long after we reached the classroom, our homeroom teacher called us to her office. Yuchu's mother came to the school at noon, said our homeroom teacher, Xiaoyun. What did she say? At noon, Yuchu's mother went to the security office to review the surveillance footage. She saw you at the corner by the school gate, arguing with her father. Xiaoyun looked at me, conflicted. Looks like her father complained to her mother. I smiled. Teacher, about this matter. At that, I looked at Shen Youchu. Yuchu, go back to class first. I will explain the rest to the teacher alone. Shen Youchu looked at me. She wanted to stay. I do not want to say bad things about your parents in front of you anymore. I patted her shoulder. Go on back. Only then did Shen Youchu nod. She walked out. Once the office door closed again, I turned to He Xiaoyun and told her what Shen Youchu had gone through last Friday night. After hearing me out, He Xiaoyun was angry. I cannot believe this happened. If Youchu is being mistreated by her parents, we can help her contact the Women's Federation. That will not help, teacher. Youchu is not suffering physical harm. She is hurt here. I pointed to my heart. He Xiaoyun fell silent. The emotional abuse caused by such a family environment, other than talking more with Shen Yuchu's parents, there was little else she could do. So, what do you plan to do? He Xiaoyun looked at me curiously. I took out the signed contract and handed it to He Xiaoyun. With this, and with Youchu already 16, her parents cannot come to school and make unreasonable trouble. If they insist on causing a scene at school, we can call the police and report them for disorderly conduct. He Xiaoyun nodded after hearing this, then suddenly froze. Wait, this contract says you two are living together. She gave me a startled once-over. We are only living in the same house. Teacher, do not get the wrong idea. Since that is the situation, you should go back for now. I will consider how to speak with Youchu's parents. Thank you for your trouble, teacher. Then I left the office. After a mock math exam that afternoon, school was soon over. The two of us took a taxi to the building where Shen Yuchu's mother lived. Shen Youchu was extremely nervous. The moment the door opened, her heart nearly leaped out of her throat. But the home was remarkably quiet. Only then did she breathe a huge sigh of relief. Then we went inside. Suddenly, a little boy ran out. Sis. When he saw Shen Youchu, the boy froze for a moment, then hurriedly asked, "Where have you been these past few days?" Seeing the little boy, Shen Youchu smiled gently. "I went to a classmate's house." "Xiaoyu, where are mom and dad?" Though her parents treated her badly, this little brother treated her like his real sister. "Mom and dad are at the hospital. Mom should be back soon to make dinner." After saying that, the little boy immediately looked at me. "Is this handsome guy your boyfriend, sis?" Shen Youchu blushed at that, but did not explain. Shen Youchu was still anxious. She decided to quickly pack her things, so she would not run into her mother on the way out. As for why both parents were at the hospital, she naturally had not forgotten what happened Friday night. Flashback. "What is all this on your phone?" Shen Yuchu's mother, Fengzhi, demanded, holding up the phone. Her stepfather, Li Gang, took the phone and looked at it. There were several photos of boys in the gallery. He was rather surprised. "That is my privacy. How could you, without my permission, go through my photo album?" Shen Youchu felt deeply furious and wronged by her mother's actions. "Your privacy? I am your mother. What privacy can you possibly have from me? Of all people to take after, you choose to take after your father and do this? You are so young, yet you are already thinking about things like this. You are just like your father." At that moment, Shen Yuchu's mother could not stop replaying the inappropriate photos she had seen that day. On Shen Changfeng's phone, among them were photos of his current wife. It was because of this that she had fought with Shen Changfeng. She eventually learned that Shen Changfeng really had cheated. Then they divorced. After all those blows, her mental state had never been stable. This was especially true whenever anything related to Shen Changfeng came up. Hearing her mother speak of her that way, Shen Youchu, already near breaking point, was utterly devastated. She felt that her last shred of dignity had been utterly trampled by her mother. Then her mother suddenly smashed the phone on the floor. Overcome with emotion, she advanced on Shen Youchu. Li Gang shouted, "Fengzhi, snap out of it. This is Youchu. She is your daughter, not Shen Changfeng. Wake up." Li Fengzhi suddenly stumbled, which instantly brought her back to her senses. Shen Youchu curled up behind the door, her body shaking uncontrollably. When the noise outside suddenly subsided, she gathered her courage and cracked the door open. "I am fine, as long as you are all right." Li Gang was breathing with difficulty, yet he wore a smile. He normally did not care much about his stepdaughter. The reason he protected Shen Youchu so fiercely that day was also to protect Li Fengzhi. If she hurt someone in that state, she might be sent for psychological counseling. Seeing this through the crack in the door, Shen Youchu hurried out. "The hospital is nearby. Quick, take uncle to the hospital." Li Fengzhi glared at Shen Youchu in fury. "It is none of your concern, you little jinx. If it were not for you, how would he have ended up like this? Get out. Get as far away as you can." With tears filling her eyes, Shen Youchu ran outside. The only place she could go was her father's home, so she ran to her father's house. Shen Youchu shook her head, pushing everything that had happened last week from her mind. Then she told Li Mingyu, "Xiaoyu, go back and do your homework. Your sister and this brother have things to do, so we cannot keep you company." With that, Shen Youchu took me to her room. The moment she entered, she began packing. She finished quickly, then took out a piece of paper and wrote a note. She placed it on the table. Just then, the door was suddenly pushed open. Li Fengzhi stood in the doorway. Hearing the door, Li Mingyu came out too. "Mom, hurry up and make dinner. I am starving." Seeing Li Mingyu there, Li Fengzhi forced down her emotions. She smiled and nodded at him. "I will start right away. Go back to your room and finish your homework." After persuading Li Mingyu back into his room, Li Fengzhi stared at Shen Youchu in disbelief. "What do you think you are doing? Think you are grown up now? You found yourself a man, and now you are leaving. Shen Youchu lowered her head and said nothing. She felt as if she had returned to that Friday night. Do you know how I carried you for 10 months? How hard it was to give birth to you? And now you think you are grown up. So, you pack your things and just leave. Did you ask me? Say something. Do you even see me as your mother anymore? Fengzhi grew more agitated with every word. Tears instantly spilled from Shen Yuchu's eyes. She was not crying because she had been scolded. She still held on to the image of her mother when she was gentle. She did not want a bitter, final fight with her mother. So she did not say a word, letting her mother go on. Seeing this, I slowly stepped in front of Shen Youchu. Ma'am, Youchu did not end up here today because she chose it herself. You and uncle drove her into a corner. Fengzhi glared at me furiously. You are Fang Yuan, right? I know your family has money. You are a spoiled rich kid. I smiled. We are doing all right. Do not stand there grinning at me. I know exactly what people like you are like. As she spoke, Fengzhi looked at Shen Youchu, her face full of anguish. Do not think that just because he is handsome and rich, you have found someone to rely on for life. Rich young men like him are the least trustworthy. Just like your father. When you choose a man, the last kind you should choose is one who is handsome and wealthy. Hearing that, Shen Youchu looked up at me. She did not believe I was anything like her father. Besides, we had not even made our relationship official. How could there be any talk of abandonment? Ma'am, you are right. No matter how sweetly some people speak now, no one knows what they will become in the future. But I know one thing. While Youchu is with me, what she gains and what remains with her will all be happy memories. I took out a handkerchief and gently wiped Shen Yuchu's tears. I do not care what sweet lies you used to win over my daughter. I am warning you now. Stay away from my daughter. If I ever find out you have hurt her, I will fight you to the death. Then let me warn